Animals have an uncanny ability to constantly surprise us. In this particular instance, a dog repeatedly ventured into the ocean, leading to a remarkable revelation for its owner. Pat Dawn's heart raced as she watched Ben, her faithful dog, swimming in the vast sea. Near Ben, a sleek form emerged from the depths. From the pier, Pat couldn't discern the identity of the creature swimming so close to her beloved pet. It could have been a sizable fish or even a shark. Certainty gripped her, and fear surged through her veins as she dreaded the possibility of witnessing her dog being devoured right before her eyes. He had ventured farther out than he should have. Pat Doan and her Labrador, Ben, called Tory Island on the west coast of Ireland their home, a breathtaking locale. Ben had always enjoyed a dip in the sea, but on this particular day, his behavior left Pat bewildered. As they strolled along the pier, Ben abruptly decided to take a plunge, sending a shiver down Pat's spine. She questioned whether he could navigate the deep waters with confidence. Normally, he just played on the sand in the shallow waters. He never had any dock diving experience, and he definitely didn't swim in deep ocean water. Going into the ocean with all the currents could be dangerous. Being a Labrador, he loved the water, but he was not used to being so far out in the sea, and he certainly wasn't used to another animal popping up next to him while swimming. Ben could be in grave danger. For a moment, Pat considered going in after him, but she knew that she wasn't strong enough to swim and save him, no matter how much she wanted to. The worst part was that the dog almost got out of danger. When Pat called, Ben would come closer to the side, but then he would swim right back out again. Her calls attracted the attention of others, but none of them were sure what to do. Ben was usually a lot better behaved than this, but he refused to listen to her at all. He seemed to be having fun. Then one of the onlookers got a better look and realized who the other animal was. They told Pat that it was Duggie the Dolphin, who was swimming next to Ben. Duggie was known in the area, and she would never hurt anyone. Pat felt a bit better about Ben being out in the water with her. A dolphin sounded a lot less scary than all the other options that Pat had imagined. Watching the dog in the ocean next to a dolphin was seriously incredible, and although Pat couldn't completely relax while Ben was in the water, she did acknowledge that it was a mind-blowing experience. Ben came out eventually, safe and sound. But after the incredible experience, Pat was interested to find out more about the resident dolphin in the area. Duggie was a female dolphin who had lived around Tory Island for a few months. Her story had a tragic start. A pod of dolphins was seen swimming around the island, and then one of the dolphins washed up on the island. They weren't sure if he was sick or if he was injured, but he was too far gone to be saved. The locals were all really sad, but there wasn't much that they could do, and it was going to get even worse. Soon after that, the rest of the pod moved on, except for one lonely female dolphin that stayed behind and kept swimming all around the harbor and the island. It was like she was searching for something. Dolphins mate for life, and the locals knew that it was likely Duggie's mate that died, and ever since then, she was left lonely and searching for him. She wouldn't leave without him, and now she was stuck without her family. Dolphins live in families, and seeing one completely on her own was a heartbreaking sight. The humans felt bad for her, but no one could help her. But maybe another animal could sense her sorrow even more clearly. The next time they walked along the water, Ben again jumped in and started swimming in the deep water. And as if on cue, Duggie appeared too. Her dog kept swimming into the ocean. And that was the moment his owner realized the amazing reason why he had formed a bond with the dolphin. These were animals of two different species. They didn't communicate in the same way, and Pat had no idea how they connected in the first place. But when he jumped into the water at the pier, he knew that he was going swimming with a friend, and that bond only grew over time. From then on, Pat would take the dog to the beach or the pier, and he would jump into the water searching for his friend. They would swim together for ages. At first, Pat worried that her dog was going to get into trouble from swimming too long and getting tired, but she stopped worrying quickly. He could spend hours in the water, often swimming for as long as 3 hours with the dolphin, and he never got into trouble. The unlikely friendship was heartwarming, and many people became invested in their story. People would come just to watch Ben and Duggie playing and swimming in the water. Those who didn't know about the strange friendship would always get a shock when the lab came running past and jumped into the ocean, and even more so when they saw the dolphin coming out of the ocean. They had a special relationship, and it seemed like Ben had brought the grieving dolphin some comfort. But soon something would happen that would endanger all of it. They had been friends for months when the next pod of dolphins came to visit the area. Dolphins are creatures who survive in families, and Duggie only had Ben as a companion for so long. When the pods came to visit, she started spending time with them. It wasn't clear if this was her own family, but she swam with them all around the island. She still came for her daily swim with Ben, but she didn't stay as long as she normally would. Pat was happy that the dolphin got to be with her own kind for a bit, but she felt bad for her dog. He seemed sad and not as playful as he usually was. Then the pod moved on. The next time they went on their walk, Ben acted strange. He didn't jump in the water. Instead, he lay down on the pier and sulked. He didn't get in because he knew that his friend wasn't there waiting for him as she normally did. Duggie had moved on with the rest of the pod. She didn't come for her daily swim with Ben, and he seemed sad. Was this the end of a beautiful friendship? Ben didn't even get into the water and swim on his own. He just lay there, staring into the ocean. It was kind of sad, but on the other hand, Duggie was a wild dolphin, and it was to be expected that she would eventually leave the area. It looked like Ben was just going to have to get over the heartbreak of missing his friend, and many people who were invested in the story online and also in town hoped that it wasn't the last time that Ben could see Duggie. She just disappeared, and it didn't feel like they had any closure. Pat's entire focus remained on her dog. Her desperation to help him was palpable. She even began contemplating the idea of getting him a puppy companion. Over the course of a few days, Pat purposely chose walking routes that avoided the ocean, aiming to divert his attention. However, one day Ben displayed a strong urge to head toward the peak. He adamantly refused to follow any other path, a trait familiar to most Labrador owners who know how stubborn they can be. Ben was determined to reach the ocean, and Pat had no option but to comply. Upon reaching the water's edge, Ben wasted no time and leaped into the sea. Suddenly, a dolphin emerged from the water right beside him. Duggie had returned. Their joyful reunion brought tears of happiness to Pat's eyes. From that moment forward, there was no more uncertainty about whether Duggie would leave. She would spend some time with her pod and swim alongside them for a few days, but she unfailingly returned to her best friend. We've always acknowledged the deep bond between dogs and humans, but who would have imagined that it could extend to a dolphin as well? Their remarkable friendship served as an inspiration to others, demonstrating that connections can flourish despite apparent differences. Yet, for Duggie and Ben, their primary concern was when they would have the opportunity to swim together once more. What do you think of this unusual animal friendship? Have you ever encountered such an animal friendship? Let us know in the comment section. Thank you.